Welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain.
Hello. Any information discussed in this interview may not be the views of the station or the host. Please discuss any information with your primary care physician. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. Our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. Folks, you're going to want to listen to my amazing, and I mean amazing guest today. I am so thrilled to have my guest. Why do I do this show, folks? It's because I want to provide resources to help people, and so does my guest. My guest is a very busy woman. I'm so glad she is taking the time to be on my show today. My guest is Traci Lamb. She is CEO of Smart Caregiving LLC. Can you read my own handwriting? Which is a referral company for the federal government. And Traci has a show, which is on Facebook and YouTube, called Traci Knows Caregiving, which I highly recommend for people to watch. Traci also will be having a show, which I have to watch this myself, or hear it myself, which is going to be on legendsradio.com, and that information will be in the blog, hopefully early July. And it's going to talk about Medicare, which, hey, I'm going to be 65 in December. I need to listen to that show for sure, which Traci will be a co-host with Medicare Miriam. Traci Lamb is phenomenal. She received the International Federation for Healthcare Advancement Award in 2021, 2022. She's in the top 100 healthcare visionaries. Folks, I wish I knew Traci Lamb. I wish I knew about her company when my husband Matt was alive. This is why I do my show. I'm paying it forward because I want you, the audience, to know what is available, what is out there. So I want to welcome Traci Lamb to Chatting with Betsy. Thank you for coming on, Traci.
Thank you so much, Betsy. That was very sweet. You're very, very nice. I am thrilled to be here. I think you do an amazing work. I think it's amazing what you've done. I wish Matt were still here with you and able to see what all you've done and all the people that you've helped and all the people you continue to help on a daily basis. So I think you're a pretty amazing person yourself. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Getting choked up here. Thank you. Thank you. I believe he sees me from heaven.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Traci, you are like just amazing. You started this company, and I want you to tell the audience why you started this company. I have several questions. What your company does, and
sure,
how people can get in touch with your company, and it's international. So that is just phenomenal.
Thank you so
Congratulations.
much. Thank you so much. Okay, so my background is basically in healthcare. I've been in healthcare almost 18 years. I actually worked for hospice for about 15 years, and before that I did own a small business before. I actually owned my own recruiting company. I owned and ran my own recruiting company for about 4 years, and ended up in hospice, loved working for hospice, loved working for that organization, loved helping people, and realized that my passion was for helping people. I ended up about 3 years ago, getting divorced, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I decided, I wanted to be able to help people. Again, it was just my passion for helping people. And so I decided, when I was working in hospice, we got the same question over and over again, and that was, if my mom or dad is not, quote, sick enough for hospice, who do I call to get help? How do I get help? I have lots of questions, more questions than just one, and I have continuing questions because things change constantly for the person that I'm caring for. How do I get help? And at the time that I worked for hospice, there really was no answer, at least that I knew about, to give them. So when I got divorced, I just decided, this is crazy. I've been in the medical field for all these years, and I actually know about all these different companies and resources that could actually help people. And so I'm gonna start a company to help people, and that's what the whole premise is, to help people. And so I started the company and started it right before. And I started it out just kind of doing webinars with local caregivers that I knew about, and I told them about local resources. And it seemed to get a really great response, both from caregivers and from companies. And so I realized there was a huge need there. So I kind of started moving it forward and decided to go into, but people didn't have a lot of time for webinars. So I ended up making it to where people could just sign up. And I decided to make a directory. And I got it trademarked. So we are trademarked. We're basically trademarked as kind of the Angie's List for people who take care of loved ones at home. And so if anybody takes care of anybody at home, whether it's a mom, a dad, a special needs child, a friend, they can call in as often as they want with as many questions as they want, and it costs them nothing. It's completely free, and it can be from anywhere in the world. And we don't give medical advice. That's the one thing we don't do. But basically, we answer their questions honestly with companies that can help them. We have a global directory of companies that offer products and services that help them on their caregiving journey. We ended up going global within 90 days of starting the company, and now have a global directory, and we are adding companies to the directory weekly. I'm adding 5 new companies actually this week. So
wow.
It's amazing to me. I did, kind of like I was telling you before we got on the show, I am middle child of 3. Older sister passed away several years ago in a car crash. My younger brother died 2 years ago from alcoholism. So up until last year, I was very blessed in that my parents, even though they were close to 80, they were still very mobile. They were still doing fairly well. And I could talk the talk of caregiving, but I really had not had to walk the walk. And then last September, my 82-year-old mother ended up having total knee replacement surgery, and it went very badly. And then my father just completely started declining at the same exact time. So I had to put my whole business on hold for about 8 months and just get into full caregiver mode. And I was doing everything for both of them, and I completely learned how to walk the whole caregiving walk now. I have now done it all. I have now seen it all. We've been through rehab, we've been through hospitals, we've been through every single thing. Unfortunately, my father passed away in February of this year. And I do think, even though it was probably the toughest thing I have ever gone through, and I've gone through a lot in my life, it was by far the hardest thing I've ever done was the last 8 months with my dad being as sick as he was and caregiving for him and my mother on a full-time basis. And I think I needed to kind of go through that to be able to fully understand my caregivers and the people that I help. But basically we connect the two. We connect caregivers to this global network of companies that help them on their caregiving journey. So that's what we do.
That is phenomenal. Traci, I want to extend my sympathies to, I know your dad had passed away because we were communicating at that time, and sorry about your brother and sister. It's a tremendous amount of loss. You bring out a good point, Traci, and you're welcome. And I want to, because this is so important for people to understand. Yes, there are people who talk the talk, and they never walk the walk of caregiving. And to me personally, I would rather deal with someone who has walked the walk because they understand on a much deeper level than someone who's never experienced it. And now you've been on both sides of the fence, as I call it.
Yep.
And I'm sure you are much more empathetic to your clients more than you ever were before you encountered
without a doubt.
caregiving. I mean, it changes you. I mean, this is
it does.
Caregiving changes.
It does. It changes you, and it changes you on multiple levels. You know, the one thing that I've learned, and I kept reading about this in other caregiving blogs and, you know, articles and all this other thing. And again, until I had gone through it, I really didn't understand it. But it really is vitally important that as the caregiver that you take care of yourself as much as you're trying to take care of your loved one. Because, you know, when you let yourself get so bogged down and tired and weary and everything that happens when you're in the middle of it, it becomes even harder to take care of your loved one, you know, and it's hard to think of yourself. I mean, it really, really is. I mean, I didn't even hardly at one time think for myself, but I can, in retrospect now, look back on it and I can see, wow, if that had lasted a long period of time, you know, I was blessed that it was really only 8 months. You know, some people go through it for years. And honestly, I can see how it's important that you have to take time for yourself at times and just get out and just breathe, you know, and just, okay, I need to, because you can't take care of them if you're not taking care of yourself. If you end up getting sick, then what are they going to do? You know, they're counting on you.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to be able to take care of yourself enough to be able to care for them.
Yes. Oh, I agree 100%. And I always say, Traci, that, you know, self-care, I was a caregiver for Matt for 10 years. I was a caregiver for his mom, my mother-in-law, for 5 years, even before that. And, of course, I didn't know back then what I know now. But self-care is literally a matter of life and death for the caregiver. If you want to enjoy life during caregiving and after caregiving, you have to. It's a must to take care of yourself.
I completely agree. And, you know, one of the reasons why I tell people, you know, I have a lot of people that say to me, you know, well, I'm not caring for anybody right now. You know, my parents are still pretty good, you know, or I don't have a special needs child, or, you know, I don't have anybody in my life that I'm having to do that. So, you know, I'll get in touch with you later. Well, you know, I think a lot of COVID taught us this too. Caregiving can happen to you on a dime. You know, your whole life can change on a dime. You know, you may think you don't need resources right now, but you need to at least know where to find them, because the reality is it's like when my sister died, you know, in a car crash. You know, I spoke to her on a Wednesday night, and on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. she was gone. You know, and life can change on a dime. So you don't know when somebody's going to get diagnosed with something. You don't know how long they're going to have. You don't know anything. And it can happen to anybody at any age. You know, unfortunately, death is no respecter of persons. And one of the things that I learned at hospice is that, you know, it really can affect anybody at any time. You know, and so we all have to at least have a plan. It's kind of like planning for your retirement. You know, you plan for your retirement, so you hope that you can one day retire. Well, I know, you know, sickness and caregiving is not something anybody wants to think about, but it's something that if you will plan for it, then as the caregiver, you're going to have a much easier time. It doesn't mean that it's going to be super easy, because it's just an extraordinarily difficult journey. But if you have resources that can help you, it will make the journey that much easier.
Yes. Oh, I love that you said that, Traci, because that is so true, and that's one of the purposes of my show, Chatting with Betsy, is to help people to know about resources that I wish that I knew about, because I tell people, you know, learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make the same ones. I wish that I knew of resources to help me navigate the hospice process. I was at the end of my rope. I mean, and this is what I tell people, don't wait till you're at the end of your rope to research hospice. Do it ahead of time. Have plans in place.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly.
For sure. And, the reality is that there's certain things, like I tell people all the time, there are two organizations that, that I think that are huge helps to people. And, of course, there's a whole lot more. I mean, God knows there's just a multitude of companies out there, in the United States and worldwide. But, if you're a vet, my father was a vet. My father was in the Army for only 3 years. He was not in a war, and he never got hurt in the war. So it's not like he got all these extra perks. But I will tell you, the VA took better care of my dad. My dad would have probably been dead 10 years earlier than he was if he had not been with the VA. I mean, it was absolutely positively amazing. They did everything for him. I mean, it was unbelievable. He would go have surgeries. He would be in the hospital, and he paid nothing. I mean, he paid nothing. And I tell people, if you have a vet that you're taking care of, please, please, please hook up with your VA, because it is worth it. Yes, it takes a little bit to get hooked up with them, but once you're hooked up for life, and you can get aid and attendance. I mean, he got an extra $2,500 a month from the VA because my mom and I were taking care of him. I mean, there's money involved. He got free medical equipment. I mean, it's just, the list goes on and on and on and on. And so if you have a vet and you're taking care of the vet, definitely hook up with the VA. And hospice, and I know because, Betsy, you and I have talked in the past, hospice, unfortunately, there's good and bad hospices out there. And I hate to say that, but that's just the truth, is there are great ones, and then there are bad ones. And I would wish that everybody would have a wonderful experience with everyone, but unfortunately that is not the case. I was blessed in that I was with a good one, and I believe that most of the people that were with us had a good experience, but I'm sure that there were people that didn't. But the reality is that hospice can truly help you much earlier than a week before the patient dies. And that's what people don't seem to understand. Everybody has the misnomer. I know the first time I put my father into hospice, and I put him in 3 different times. I put him in the first time 5 years before he died. And he was in for 2.5 years. And people are just stunned at that. They're like, your father was in hospice for 2.5 years? And I'm like, yeah, because he had congestive heart failure and COPD, which are both terminal diseases. If you have a terminal disease, like Alzheimer's or dementia or CHF or COPD, you can get in under hospice care at any time because you are continuing to decline. You don't have to have only 6 months to live. You're continuing to decline. And as long as you continue to decline, and they'll come and check you every 2 weeks due to Medicare guidelines, but as long as they come and check you every 2 weeks, and you're continuing to decline like my father did for 2.5 years, then they'll keep you under care. And, excuse me, they can help you with so much. They really, really can. And that's what I try. I know when I first told my dad that I was going to have a hospice nurse come out and talk to him, he goes, Trace, I'm not dying. And I was like, Dad, I know. And that's what I thought too until I started working for them. But, once people understand that they're just going to come out, they're going to send a registered nurse out every week to help you. They can send out a CNA every week to help you. I mean, there's just a lot of different things that they can help you with. Then it can be a huge help to a lot of people.
Yes. It's really something how things change. When Matt's mom, she was in a facility. We weren't offered hospice care at that time. And that's in the early, she was in a nursing home from 2004 to 2006. Now, my dad was in a facility 2008 to 2012. My dad was on hospice for 18 months. And he had Alzheimer's, he had COPD, he was diabetic, he had CHF, and it was a help not just for him and my mom, but also to the staff at the nursing home. He loved the attention. They, he had it twice a week, and he just, my father loved attention, so he just really enjoyed that attention that he had. As a matter of fact, the hospice aides drove an hour up to my dad's funeral. My dad was in South Jersey, and the funeral was up near me, so it was like an hour ride. I thought that was really nice.
That is really nice.
Come up. So everyone has different experiences. Traci, how does someone contact you? Say I'm a caregiver and I need referrals in my area. Okay, I live in the U.S. I live in New Jersey. I'll give that as an example. Now, what do I do in contacting you?
So there's two different things that they can do. The first, they can go to my website, and there's two different ways you can get to my website. You can go to smart-caregiving.com, or you can go to Traci, Traci, Knows, Knows.com. And both of those will take you to my website. They can click on Caregivers. They can register for free, and then they can get into my directory. That's the first thing they can do. Once they get in, they're going to get a username and password, and they can email us or they can call us. The phone number is right there on the website. They can call us. We have a toll-free number. That is the other thing. They can call us directly and just tell us what the problems are. Every person is different. Every patient is at a different place. So the best thing to do is, like I say, send us an email. Just say, okay, so I'm dealing. Like I had a patient family, that the son was living in New York. He was a VP with Morgan Stanley. His dad was down here in Newport Richey, and he was like, and his doctor's office actually recommended me. And so he said, he called me and he goes, I don't know what you could tell he was a super busy guy. And he said, I don't know what you do. He goes, but his doctor's office told me to call you, so I need help. And I started laughing. I said, okay, then let's see where he's at and what you need. So he needed a power of attorney down here in Florida because he needed to do some different things with his dad's house. He also needed to contact he wanted to get in contact with somebody who could help him with various facilities because he wanted his dad to possibly go to a facility, but he didn't know about any of the facilities down here. So I was able to connect him with all of that. I actually stayed in contact with that man for about the next 6 weeks. He called me almost every day, and until his dad ended up going into the hospital and his dad ended up passing away. But we were with him the entire journey. He wrote up a beautiful testimonial about our company. And so, that's the thing is that once people realize that there's a place that they can actually call or they can actually email and not only talk to somebody but actually get answers and say, oh, because most of the time they'll say, I never knew that company existed. I never knew there was a company out there that did that. That's the key. We want it to be kind of like a one-stop shop where they can get their questions answered and they can contact companies that offer products and resources that help them on the journey.
That is super fantastic. It's like it leaves me speechless because I can't even put into words how wonderful this is. Okay, imagine, folks, you're in one state. Your loved one is in another one. You call Traci's company, and they know resources in that state. How amazing is that? And you're international. So if somebody from Europe calls you, you have resources for those places also?
Yes, we're in the process right now. We already have 4 companies in Canada. We have a company over in Belgium. We actually have 2 companies in Italy, and we're actually expanding into Spain and Portugal and Africa. So yes, we're in the process of getting places of all those places. And what we typically tell people is they call in and they have a question and they're in a place, that we're not sure about and they need a resource that we're not sure about, then we just tell them to give us 24 to 48 hours and we will get back to them and we will be able to get the answer for them. So they don't have to do the research. The goal is we want to take the burden off of them We want to take the burden on us. We want to be able to make their caregiving journey so much easier that they now feel like they're no longer alone, they're no longer isolated, they're no longer overwhelmed, that there's a community of caregivers just like them that they can join, and it can make them do caregiving but smarter, not harder. Let's all work smarter rather than harder.
Oh, I love that. I got to write that down, put in the blog. Let's work smarter. I like that. And not harder.
And that's why I called it Smart Caregiving. That's why I called it Smart Caregiving, because I let's work smarter rather than harder. We all work hard every day. No matter what we do, we work hard. And caregiving is really hard. So if we can make caregiving a little bit smarter so that you don't have to make it so hard, then that's going to make it just that much more of a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Traci, the work that you're doing is so phenomenal. And, I'm so blessed and grateful that I get to do what I do and have amazing people like you on my show to help others, because this is what Chatting with Betsy is about, is helping other people. Oh, my goodness, how I wish. I wish there was Traci Lamb 12 years ago, 20 years ago.
I know. I get told that all the time, and I wish I had too. Because they're becoming more and more caregivers every day, as you all know, which is one reason why it's so great that you do what you do. They're becoming more caregivers every day, and it is a global problem. It's not just a United States problem. It is a global problem, and everybody needs help. And the reality is that the more help that we can get out there, the better a world it's going to be. We're all here and created for a purpose to try and help each other. It's not just about me. It's not just about you. It's all about trying to help other people. And the reality is that if we can all kind of help each other to get along this journey, it's just going to be that much better. I am going to, in 2024, my 2023 is looking crazy, but in 2024, I am going to have my first caregiver retreat. And I would love to have you there, and maybe you could do your podcast live or something. But we're going to do like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday retreat for caregivers. We'll probably do it like in Orlando initially, where caregivers can actually come and not only hear speakers, but get a chance to get away from caregiving for a weekend. It'll be, like I say, probably in a place like Orlando, just where they can do a lot of fun things on the weekend as well. But they'll also be able to be educated with a lot of different topics. And so I'll keep you posted, and I'll keep you updated on that. But that would be amazing, and then that way you and I could meet each other face to face, and that would be a cool thing.
That would be cool. Oh, and please talk about your global conference. Your conferences that are coming up.
Yes, I'm super excited. One of the things I found as I started adding more and more companies onto my directory was that a lot of these companies, not surprisingly, didn't know that these other companies existed. And they would say, oh, wow, you got that company on your directory? We would love to do business with them. Well, so I soon realized, this is kind of crazy. Why don't we just all get in the same room? And so I decided to start doing some global conferences. So in May of next year, May 22nd through 24th, we are going to be having our first global conference. It will be in Tampa. It will be at the Grand Hyatt. And it is going to be, we're going to be marketing it mainly as an experience. It's not just going to be a conference. It's going to be more than that, because I really think it's like I told my team that's helping me put it together, I want it to be more than just, going and sitting in a room and taking notes and listening to people talk. That is going to happen, but I want it to be more than that. I want people to actually have a time when they can actually network with one another. So we're going to be doing my company is going to be sponsoring a couple of dinners. We're going to do a sponsor dinner on Monday night. We're going to be sponsoring a speaker dinner on Tuesday night. We're going to have a DJ and cocktail hour each night for all the companies after the event. So I really want to make it to where companies can really get to know each other so that by the end of the event, they can really leave and say, wow, I connected with some really great companies that can help me grow my company. And then in October, we're going to have an even bigger event. That's going to be either the 2nd through the 4th of October of 2023 or the 9th through the 11th of 2023. And more than likely, it's going to be at the Venetian in Las Vegas. And that's going to be anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 attendees. That'll be in healthcare, IT, food, and the financial industries. Those will be global companies. And our keynote speaker is going to be Merrill Hodge. He is the former Pittsburgh Steeler and is currently an NFL analyst. And he's going to be our keynote speaker. And same thing, it's going to be more of an experience and where everybody can network and get to know one another and really feel like that when they leave, they really got some really, not only great information, but they connected with some really great companies that can really help them go to the next level. So,
wow, you are one busy woman. And these events will be, as it gets closer, of course, will be on your website so people can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Register.
Absolutely. They will be. They will be on my website, and they will also be on my LinkedIn page, the registration and all that. There'll be a website where companies can go and they can register if they are interested in attending. And if any companies are interested in sponsoring, or all of my speaker slots are completely filled for May. I've got half of them filled for Vegas, but not completely filled. If any companies out there offer products or services that they would be interested in coming to Vegas for, then we still have slots available, and we still obviously have places and people can go and they can register for that as well.
Oh, well, that sounds very, very exciting, Traci, and I can't thank you enough for coming on, chatting with Betsy. And folks, information about Traci Lamb and her company, Smart Caregiving, will be in the blog. So please read the blog that Jeannie White, who is station manager, writes. So thank you, Jeannie. And Jeannie White produces the show. So thank you so much, Traci Lamb, for coming on. Folks, I'm telling you, I would be jumping on my computer if I was a caregiver, even just to know information, because as Traci said, things change. Believe me, they change in a spin of a dime. And if you're not a caregiver now, you most likely will be a caregiver, or you're going to need a caregiver. Start educating yourself. I plead, and I know I sound redundant, but I can't even impress upon you how important that is. Start planning. Start educating yourself about the number 6 killer, Alzheimer's. This is still June, so it's Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. And, educate yourself about caregiving, what resources are out there, because you don't know when you will need it. Trust me, you will not know, and you don't want to be frantic. You want to be prepared. And I would definitely get in touch with Traci's Smart Caregiving LLC. Definitely. If I knew about this, if this was available, trust me, I would have been on my computer, my smartphone, and calling. Help.
Thank you so very much, Betsy. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the time you gave me to talk, and I appreciate you having me on your show. I really, really appreciate it. And we just want to help people, so we will be more than happy and thrilled to help anybody and everybody that's out there that wants to sign on and give us a call and help them with whatever they need.
Thank you, Traci. I love meeting like-minded people who have a passion. And Traci Lamb has a passion to help people. She knows the deal personally, and I would definitely trust Traci and her company to do right, by people. And I just want to thank Lillian Caldwell, CEO of Passion World Talk Radio, who makes this all possible. And I want to thank you, the listeners. Please share this podcast. Please tell your friends about it, because it is to help people. And the more people I help, I like that, okay? Chatting with Betsy is not about me. It is about helping people. And that's my vision, and that's my mission, is to help people by providing people with resources that I sure wish I knew about or that were available at the time that my husband was alive, and, to help people in many different ways. So if you missed any of this podcast, you could catch it again wherever you hear your favorite podcast. And it is free to subscribe to Chatting with Betsy. I'm on Apple, Podchaser, Spreaker, just to name a few. And, the more people that know about resources that could help them, really, the better off we all are. I love what Traci said. Let's work smarter, not harder. And providing resources, knowing resources is one way to work smarter. And trust me, when I tell you this, it's important to know these resources. It's important to have this. And I can't thank you enough, Traci, for starting this company. It's wonderful. And I wish you so much success. And I know, when you get famous one day, I'm going to say Traci was on Chatting with Betsy.
Oh, thank you so much, Betsy. And like I say, thank you again and to your audience for listening to me. And they're wonderful people, I'm sure, because you're a wonderful person. And I'm so glad that you're on every day helping people and telling people about resources, especially with Alzheimer's. It's such a difficult disease, and I commend you for being able to deal with it on such a regular basis. And I commend anybody who deals with that. That's a really, really tough one. So thank you so much. I have enjoyed it tremendously, and I will be more than happy to help any caregivers that contact us, because that's my joy and that's my passion. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Traci. And folks, if you're looking for a support group, I have one, #Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement. Traci is a member, and we welcome all people. It is Gay Pride Month. I welcome people from all walks of life to #Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement. Alzheimer's doesn't discriminate, equal opportunity destroyer, as I say, and I don't discriminate either. So that's my public service announcement. And that's my little plug there for my support group. So, if you need a support group, please join. Go ahead, Traci.
No, that was it. I think it's amazing. I think what your group is amazing. Your support group is amazing. I think you support a lot of great people and who are all doing very selfless work. Caregiving is a very selfless work, and you're not thinking of yourself. You're thinking of the person you love. And so, to be able to help those people in any capacity is a really beautiful thing.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for, what the wonderful work that you're doing. And I know it's going to just keep growing and growing. And folks, this is what this is all about. It takes a village to help a caregiver, and Traci knows that. It takes a village. So people say, well, why do you promote other people on your show? Well, why not? I don't have the answers. I don't have all the answers. If I can help you, the audience, by telling you about Traci Lamb and her company and listen to her show, hey, everyone can help somebody in some way. You better believe I'm going to listen to Traci's show when it starts about the Medicare, because I'm going to be on Medicare, and I have questions. So I mean, why not? I'm all for networking and helping people and guiding people, because no one has all the answers, and we need to help each other and support each other. This is what we should be doing, and I'm just grateful for the chance. I'm very blessed, and to be a host on Pastoral Talk Radio, I'm grateful. I'm blessed. Can't thank Jeannie White and Julian Caldwell enough for giving me an opportunity to do this, and it is really something I'm very passionate about. And I just want to thank the audience again. And as I always say, folks, in a world where you could be anything, to please be kind. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. So we chat again. Be blessed. Bye-bye now.
Are you looking for an internet talk radio station for your podcast? Look no further. At the helm of Passionate World Talk Radio are two women that want to provide a spot for you and your podcast to be heard. There are many other places for your podcast, but PWTR has the audience. You will not be disappointed. Our station has been on the internet for the past 16 years. Call us for more information. 484-364-1032 or text Jeannie White, station manager at THECONNECTSHOW@gmail.com for podcast show details. Thank you for listening to Passionate World Talk Radio. You can listen to this program all over again by going over to https://passionateworldtalkradio.com. You can also hear it on Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Alexa, AMFM247.com every Tuesday evening between 8 and 9 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, and all the other podcast directories one can find on the internet.